Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It doesn't get much bigger than this as the Cougars look to earn a spot in the Big 12 title game as they take on UCF in Provo. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Averaging 15 yards a rush. They're getting more here. Jackson out into the open. What a cut. To midfield. Jackson to the 30, to the 20. Touchdown, Kansas State. 80 yards this time. Kansas State going for two. Johnson is going to throw, and it's knocked away, deflected, and actually intercepted. There is a penalty flag. Returnable, and here goes Utah. Taylor Johnson. Avery Johnson trying to catch him. Taylor Johnson angling, and he's going to go all the way. Inside the one for Utah. Parker and Dampier. Parker in motion. Dampier keeps it. Dampier. Touchdown, Utah! In to help pass protect. Johnson scrambling. Throws across his body. And it's intercepted! The senior, Lander Barton. And that's going to do it. A crazy come-from-behind win for Utah.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. But more importantly, it's Frank Dolce. Frank, that felt like an old WAC game in 1986.
What?
That Kansas State-Utah game.
Is that what it felt like? It felt like
You played in that conference. So
being taken out behind the woodshed. That's what it felt like.
All right. Well, yeah, and there was no defense. Kind of felt like maybe an old AFL game where you just needed one stop, and Utah got that one stop.
They did.
It
two.
would have been.
Yeah.
They got the two stops to finish the game with the interception and the 3-and-out to give them the ball back.
Can you believe that Lander Barton is a senior?
It just feels like Florida was the other day in the Gator.
Yeah, the senior. What? That's unreal. I was happy for Lander to get that interception at the end of the game, but all of the emotions that Utah fans had to go through in that game. You might consider you might like be on the schizophrenic spectrum after that game.
Yeah.
The ups and the downs.
All over the place.
All over the place. You know, Coach Whittingham, they were talking to Coach Whittingham after the game, and it looked like he was getting a little emotional.
Yeah.
And they mentioned that. Oh, Coach Whittingham, there's a lot of talk about him retiring. He's getting emotional after. He's getting emotional because his defense just gave up 500 yards rushing.
Yeah.
That's why he's emotional.
We talk about,
and 5 touchdowns.
Winning the Big 12 and all this stuff. That might make him retire. No, that game might make him retire. That game itself is like, all right, I'm not doing this anymore.
It was ridiculous watching that game.
What'd you think of Morgan Scalley's comments? Just saying, hey, I didn't prepare him enough for the run game.
Absolutely.
Do you think it is on Morgan, or do you think it's on the players? Because those guys know how to defend against the freaking run. They've all been coached for hand placement and footsteps.
I don't think a bad coaching performance gives you up 500 yards.
I don't either.
I think it's.
You think he gives up like 600 yards?
No, I think that's on the players. That's not on Morgan.
There has to be some accountability for Morgan. I think Morgan managed it the right way. And by the way, I would say that there's something that happened in that room in the scheme.
Yeah.
But if you look at the game, if we look, and I know we'll take a close look at it. If we look at the game, split it up, first half to second half, you could say the second half, the way Utah managed it in the second half, still was probably too much. But you're like, yeah, okay. It's more under control. The first half was ridiculous, bananas. I kept saying, and I wasn't in a position to watch it live, so I was listening to it occur. Like, it felt like, and then I watched it later, it felt like, especially in the first half of play, it wasn't like Kansas State came out and and ran power and then ran a counter and then ran something. It's like we're just going to keep running this play. And, oh, my gosh, look at that. Another 20 yards. In the second quarter alone, on 9 rushes, they averaged 25 yards per rush. That's unheard of. Tell me another time that's happened to a Utah defense.
The only thing that I felt comparable to that, and even then it was nowhere near what we saw, was when they played Oregon State in 2021, and they couldn't stop Oregon State's rushing attack.
Yes. Okay, that was another one. They did the same thing against Arizona in that same era down at Arizona.
Yeah.
And that was like, couldn't stop the run. They had a similar experience at Oregon. But the thing they couldn't stop against Oregon was the tight end passing. Like the tight end caught passes for 200-something yards in that game. And they couldn't figure out how to stop it. So as I was listening to this game, I kept thinking, like, wait, you got to make an adjustment. Why aren't we making an adjustment? Why aren't we making an adjustment? And even to the second half, the numbers were more manageable. It felt like, okay, now they're getting something in order. And finally, the last couple stops as they tried to run the same thing over again. But I think that was the frustrating part.
So I was just looking at this. Joe Jackson, the running back, the sophomore running back.
Yeah, set a school record.
From Haines City, Florida, going for 293 yards against the University of Utah. Here's his yardage. His yardage is coming in. He went for 69 yards against Kansas, 25 against Texas Tech, 69 yards against the mighty Oklahoma State Cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
And then hit the 293. So he
was trending?
He did have one 100-yard performance, and that was against TCU earlier in the season.
You know what's funny about that you mentioned that, Hans, is I played with a guy named Richard Harrison at El Camino Junior College. Richard Harrison was so super talented, very talented, but could never crack his way into the starting lineup. In fact, he played behind a guy, you may know him, Aaron Craver. Aaron Craver played with the Miami Dolphins for several years.
Oh, yeah.
After.
He played at El Camino?
He played at El Camino
Nice.
for 2 years, and then he went to Fresno State, and then he played with the Miami Dolphins. He was very good.
Yeah.
And Richard Harrison was kind of stuck in behind this guy. Well, he couldn't ever really get going. He had a couple chances to start, but it was similar, 40, maybe 50 yards a game, whatever. All of a sudden, Aaron Craver goes down and pop Richard Harrison in the starting lineup. He goes for 225. He set a school record, like out of the blue against Mount Sac.
It's weird.
Like it was so weird.
That's weird, man. And this is one of those performances. It's like doesn't.
That's right.
Such
It doesn't
an outlier.
Yeah.
Like, I guess another one you could throw in is Frank the Tank, the UNLV game.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
A guy that was a good running back, but
Frank Summers.
not that.
Frank Summers, you didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So I mean, back to the original question: is Morgan Scalley right? Yes, Morgan Scalley is right. I would say that it's really hard to tell. I would say there was probably something in preparation that didn't occur. I would say more so something happened in game adjustments that didn't occur from the sideline or from the booth. But I would also say that Kansas State saw something on film. We've talked about this throughout the year. Utah has had a tendency this year to get gashed in the run game at certain times throughout the year, like big yardage all of a sudden. But the opponents have never really been, maybe BYU, really been like all in on the run. Like, we're just going to run the ball. I feel like Kansas State saw something on film that they thought they could exploit, and they went all in. They were 100% in, and especially the first half of play, they exploited that.
Yeah, and look, Hans and I are a little biased because he's a good friend of ours, but Matt Wells has been around this game a long time.
I love Matt Wells.
And Matt's one of my favorite dudes, but he's exceptionally smart. And he's also a guy that isn't going to outthink things. If he thinks he's got something that's going to work, he's going to go to that well over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's and the one time where he didn't was that first series in the third quarter where they tried to throw the ball a little bit, and it's like, okay, that didn't work.
That didn't go
Let's
well.
go back to running the ball.
Absolutely. Matt Wells is a guy like he should be head coach again. I think he's going to be a head coach again somewhere.
Yeah, I'm a little worried, though. Overall, things have not gone well at Kansas State.
The way things have gone at Kansas State. I know there were high expectations. There were high expectations for Kansas State as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I guess we could call this a tale of two halves. If you look at the numbers, it certainly feels that way.
So, Frank, come over here. You can share my mic. Might be intimate here for just a second, but I just want to show you this because
Lloyd, could you put on the mood music?
No,
please?
just leave. Don't
encourage him.
Just put. If you're going to put on music, do like Metallica or AC/DC or something. You really don't need to put your arm around me.
By the way, you can see all of this on our KSL Sports video page at youtube.com.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of push-ups.
It's like a side of beef.
I actually did. I maxed out some bench this morning. Okay, so this is interesting. So Utah is running a 4 down, so they're running even front. They got 4 downs, and they've got 7 in the box. Mm-hmm. So, it's your typical defensive front. Yeah. So watch this. The Utah defensive line opens up vertically and not laterally. So you get penetration from your right defensive tackle, and you get held at the line of scrimmage on your right defensive tackle. So your gap opens up laterally. That's one problem. You all need to be on the same play when you're on run stop defense. The other problem is John O'Hall is playing very undisciplined at the linebacker position. This is a right formation, and it's going to be a cutback into the A gap. Mm-hmm. But watch John O'Hall. John O'Hall gets all the way over the top as the right outside linebacker, all the way over the top, and takes himself completely out of the play.
What do you think go back to that. What is he reading? Why is he over there?
Well,
what is his key on that?
I think that this is a right side B gap play.
So he's going, I guess.
And then it cuts back to the A gap, the left side A gap. But John O'Hall.
He's so far out of the
John O'Hall takes himself so far out of the play that the right guard, who's responsible for next level, instead of picking up the middle linebacker, he's able to pick up the left outside linebacker, which is John O'Hall, which opens up the big breaking run for Joe. So that's just undisciplined linebacker play. And you're getting penetration from the right defensive tackle. You're getting held at the line from the left defensive tackle. So it opens up this big vertical gap for a cutback lane. And by the way, this is just one of many 20-yard plus runs that broke.
So you're saying that you think maybe it was more on the player lack of discipline side?
Yes.
In that game.
I think on many players.
Yeah. I still don't mind. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I think that if you go back through the film like that, that's what you'll find is players out of position. And I'm certain that they weren't like preparation wasn't that way. But I still feel like Coach Scally managed it the right way. Like you put it on your shoulders. You don't say, all right, you know what? I'm going to give you 3 players that were horrible. No, that always backfires on you. And he didn't say, that's not the way we're prepared during the week. No, he had his team's back. He had his players back. He took the criticism. And then when you go behind closed doors,
then you rain fire and brimstone.
Absolutely.
But you insulate your players.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did the smart
those
thing.
coaches that come on and be like, well, we coach them up, and sometimes the players just, look, they're
18, 19-year-old,
and they're too busy worrying about their NIL and dancing on their TikTok videos.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. Look, that's never going to end well for you. You can't do
message.
that. Yeah.
Frank, come look at this one really quick. So this is another big 30-plus yard game. We
should remaneuver.
Come on over here. This is a 7-man box. Scotty, these runs are.
Do you want to come over here?
No.
These runs are breaking into a 7-man box. Now, Lloyd, don't do that because people that are watching on camera, seeing Scotty, Frank, and I kind of tucked in here together, going to get the wrong idea. Okay, these are in a 7-man box. Mm-hmm. I want you to watch the right defensive tackle. Mm-hmm. I think he's got outside responsibility. He tries to shuck and go back to play side. So he's got offside responsibility. Watch him shuck, go inside. Watch him get driven. Now watch the running back tucks right behind that block, and then boom, right out of the 7-man box. Puts on a couple of moves on the defensive backfield and gets himself in for the touchdown. So if you look at this is a defensive tackle. He's got to have backside responsibility. He's got to have this backside A-gap responsibility. That's the center that's just taking a backside step. And as he pushes and pulls, the center just drives him.
But where? Okay.
You're not giving up 35-yard touchdown runs with a 7-man front.
No. Ever.
Yeah.
No, this whole defense that's set up, guys, just so everybody can be on the same page, when you set up a 7-man front, 4 downs, 3 linebackers stacked inside the 2 tackles, what you're saying is you'll never run against us.
Go ahead and try to pass against this.
Do that again.
We're tempting you to throw the ball against this.
Look at this. Is that Jono?
Yeah, but why? Okay.
And he's blocked.
Okay,
He's picked up. So Jono gets picked up by. Sorry, we're doing film breakdown on air because I can't do it. I can't do my film breakdowns and send them out. The Big 12 does not like it. They don't like it. They don't agree.
So there's two levels that are of failure, right?
What's that?
2 levels of failure for Utah there.
Oh yeah.
Line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Second level.
Second level.
And I know.
If you watch the play out, there's 2 DBs that got to beat on them.
Yeah.
That miss attack.
And they miss.
So, but isn't that uncanny for a Utah defense to have 3 levels of failure and not just once in the game? Like
multiple times.
Multiple times.
So I have watched this film already once, and as I watched it, I'm thinking, where in the hell are these guys' minds? What are you doing? Get the angle, play your role. Don't bite heavy to the play side. Jono, you've got backside responsibility. Backside cutback that is the play that will crack you. Backside cutbacks are the ones that break for 25, 30 yards. When you get over pursuance, when you get anxious players that get out of their gaps and out of their control, that's what happens. But you put 7 men in that box. You put 7 Utah players in that box. You put 7 Utah players that are coached by Colton Swan and Lewis Powell and
Morgan Scalley, Luther Ellis.
Ellis. You put those players in that box, and this happens, like, I can't even imagine what's going on with the linebackers and with the defensive line. Because as you mentioned, Kyle's not crying because he's leaving. He's crying because he saw his defense give up 475 yards of rushing offense, and then he watched his offense carry the load, and he's probably thinking, thank heavens for Jason Beck for pulling, because this would have been a horrible loss, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, horrible. Are you kidding me?
Oh, it would have been a bad one.
I'm driving, listening to this game, thinking, I cannot believe this is happening after all that they've gone through and done and overcome, and the offensive productivity that they've had the last several weeks. This is how they're going to lose a game.
This one, like this. This could be Kyle Whittingham's last game in this stadium.
A complete bomb by the defense.
Yeah.
How ironic.
I mean, I think that's another reason Kyle was crying, because he's like, if I can't retire now. Like, I got to tell Jamie I'm coming back for another year, and she's going to be really upset because I can't leave like this. This isn't the game I can leave on. I mean, I can't say, okay, guys, everybody, I'll see ya. No, because everybody's going to say, guess what? I got ran out by Kansas State, and that's the game I'm going to leave everybody's lasting impression with. No, I can't do that.
Oh. Okay, another thing that's becoming more and more recognizable. So Utah then goes to an odd front. They put 5 across the line. Mm-hmm. So when you go to odd front, you put 3 downs, you put 5 across the line, you walk up backers, and you're trying to hit slants. You're hitting ram and line calls. So you're hitting slants into the right gap, you're hitting slants into the left gap, and then what you're doing is you're funneling the plays to your best tacklers. Mm-hmm. So, you're hitting slants, funnel them to your tackles. And Utah in a 5-man front, the over-pursuance on a reverse. Look at this, Scotty. Okay, so you got your 5-man front, 5s are walked up, 3 down linemen. You got linebackers. You're hitting a right. This is called a ram call. So watch, they all slant to the right. They all slant to the right. You funnel to your best tackler, and your best tackler over pursues. Do you see that down step? Your best tackler over pursues, and the reverse hits on the end around. This is not Utah football. Frank, this is not Utah football, man. Over-pursuance, lack of discipline, not staying home, biting on fakes, getting out of gaps. And by the way, the calls are there. You go to an odd man front, you're running ram slants, you're funneling to your best tackler, and he bites down hard on the reverse, gets completely out of position, and you give up another 15, 20-yard run.
So you're saying that schematically Utah was put in the right position?
Yes, I am saying that. I am. In fact, I'll put my reputation on it because that's not hard to see. It's not hard to see. 7-man box, odd man fronts, running hard Rams and Lions. What you're saying is we're going to stop the run. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I'm not acting like I'm perfect because Scotty happens to know about a Virginia game and a running back that went for 250 on me. And we were doing all that. We were shoving the box full. And we had one of the best linebackers in the country. And we were all trying to hit gaps. I was getting blocked. I was getting carried by the ball carrier. I couldn't do anything right. So it happens. I understand it happens. It just sucks that it happened against Kansas State and nearly cost the loss.
And it happened it didn't happen to one player. It didn't happen to one position group. It felt like
it's complete. You're right.
Yeah, it's contagious. Like missing free throws.
Exactly.
Like everybody starts. And then you see somebody that's screwing up. You're like, well, I got to do his job too.
Yes.
And so then you start to reach, then
you're trying to do something extra, and then you're out of position because you're trying to do something else. And
the other thing that's really obvious, when John Henry Daly went out, that was
I was gonna ask you about that. How much that individual loss impacted the overall defense?
It was bad.
In fact, hold that thought. Let's get to that and why the chain of events from that could have led to what we saw on Saturday. All right, Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's your Ute Preview Show right here on the Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
The regular season comes to an end for Kyle Whittingham and the Utes as they hit the road for a battle against Kansas. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Well, that productivity, it's tough to replace, but that's why you recruit. That's why you got depth. I was very pleased with Cash Dillon and what he did coming in. Lance Holtzclaw playing a little bit injured. So, we've got guys. And John Henry Daly, as a leader, as, a producer on the football field, man. And that's the tough part of this game, right? And we've had Rabbit Evans, and you got Nate Ritchie, and you got these guys that have gone down. Hunter Andrews on the offensive side of the ball, these other guys. It's just part of it, and that's the tough part.
It's Morgan Scally talking about injuries, and a big one for the Utes. John Henry Daly leaves after an incredible start to the game, multiple TFLs, 2 sacks in the first quarter. And he goes down with the injury, and it seems like, Frank, as soon as that injury happened, that's when Kansas State took off in the running game. Are those two things related?
Well, yeah, I think you can't take a guy the caliber of John Henry Daly, and not only that, but the way he's played this year, his productivity. I just don't think you can subtract that from the defense and not expect a different result. But should it have been
that drastic?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Should it have been that drastic? 348 yards in the first half. 348 yards rushing in the first half with that one injury going down. It's not like basketball where it's 1/5 of the team on the floor. I mean, there's a lot of guys, and there's a lot of talent on that defensive side.
So as I watch, and I'm just trying to diagnose this as we do the show, and it's kind of nice to be able to just watch the film as we're talking about it. But this is one of those games where everybody is on blast. Everybody. So I'm watching another big break, and I'm going to see if this is a touchdown. I'm not sure if this is a touchdown, but holy cow. I mean, safety's getting juked, corners getting outrun. This is another touchdown. This play snaps from the 20-yard line. This is that 80-yard touchdown. Okay, so let me break this one down. Okay, so Lander Barton comes up from the outside linebacking position. He comes up a little bit late, and he moves Logan Fano to the outside, and Lander Barton is now sitting on the outside wing of the right offensive tackle. So as he goes to take on the right offensive tackle, he gets double-teamed from the H-back who kind of comes down with the tackle, and they push on him. Logan Fano, that was pressed out for contain, comes directly upfield, and you get a puller that's coming off motion that bumps Lander Barton deep. Logan Fano deep. So you get Logan Fano who goes deep, you get Lander Barton who's doubled, and that opens up that sweet little lane to just bend underneath Logan Fano who's rushing wide and come right downhill where Lander Barton's being double-teamed, and he's off to the races. Off to the races, and Lander is flat out blocked up. Okay, first defender to come up and try to get a hand on him. It looks like it's number 4. It looks like it might be Don Saunders, maybe. And Don just whiffs. Next defender that's got a chance is number 16, Cole Standage. And Cole starts in pursuit of him. I believe that's who that is. Maybe not. But he starts in pursuit, can't catch him. Jackson Benny can't catch him, and he's off to an 80-yard touchdown run.
Well,
what is this?
That's the other thing.
Guys whiffing on tackles, guys getting blocked, veterans getting blocked. Logan Fano knows that as you got the polar, you can't go wide. You just can't rush wide. You got to go through the polar. So if I've got motion man coming at me and I've got contain, I still have to go through that guy because I know Barton's on the double. I've got to clamp that down. If I don't clamp that down, if I go wide, that lane is wide open for at least a 10-yard gain. But then I'll typically get a safety or I'll get a middle linebacker or I'll get a corner that will step up and make a tackle for a 15-yard gain instead of an 80-yard touchdown. Everybody's to blame here. Everybody.
That is the thing I think that is so interesting is
because it's not typical.
It's not typical. And, yeah, maybe that goes for a 20, 25, 30-yard gain, but somebody in the secondary eventually runs that guy down, right?
Yes. Yeah. This is not.
And after 80 yards later, you're like, wait a second. We got blocked. We made maybe a mistake at the line of scrimmage. We got blocked in the second level. Where's the third level?
Yeah.
This is horrifying. I'm speaking as a defensive tackle that would have to sit in meetings and watch this.
Do you think of yourself as an offensive lineman or a defensive tackle?
A trench guy.
Right now, he's
trench coat.
Figures himself as an offensive guy.
Right now, I have high anxiety thinking, man, if I had to answer to this, because I know, because I can't come in and say, well, yeah, but I was taught to. Well, you were taught to what? Over pursue, you idiot. You were taught to what? Get drawn and driven down out of your gap? What were you taught to do?
That double scoop is really, that's lighting you up today. I mean, you're on fire.
Well, dude, this is just very untypical of Utah, and it's very unacceptable of Utah. And I'm just sitting here watching, I'm thinking, 475 yards rushing. I've had some bad moments in my life.
That's one thing you've never done.
A typical Utah defense, that's 4 games of productivity for an opposing offense. 4 games worth.
But as I'm watching the film, man, you just got to give props to Jason Beck. Maybe we get off this ugly stuff and we jump on what kept this team in the game.
I think there's 2 things that, I would like to talk about is, well, maybe 3. Jason Beck in the offense, Devin Dampier in his role, and how does this performance affect Utah defensively heading into this week at Kansas?
We'll touch on that coming up next. That's Frank with a tease right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. It's a Black Friday showdown for the Aggies as they welcome in Boise State to Logan. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, Frank Dolce, it's your Ute Preview Show right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. By the way, Thanksgiving coming up tomorrow. Hope you have a good one. Frank, I hope you have a delightful Thanksgiving.
Really?
Are you a traditionalist? I mean, are you a turkey guy?
Yeah.
Okay, because some people are like, nope, I'm just going ham. I'm going prime rib. Hans is mixing in some brisket with his turkey.
Jeez, Frank, don't be disappointed.
It is disappointing. It is disappointing, Lloyd. Don't mess. Why are you going to mess with something that's near perfection?
So you're a big turkey fan.
Yeah, of course.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I am too.
And I also have thoughts on the best way to prepare a turkey. So,
are you a deep fryer?
Oh, no. I haven't tried that, although it looks interesting.
Yeah.
It's just you have to smoke it. There's no other way to prepare a turkey.
Yeah.
It just dries out in the oven.
Yep. Put a little water pan in your smoker so it stays nice and humid in there.
It's just
And then I'm
it's
a big
traditional turkey.
And then stuff that sucker with stuffing.
Yeah. Turkey, stuffing, potatoes.
Yeah.
Lloyd, did you brine in your
pudding.
crisper again this year?
Yes, sir.
So Lloyd fills his crisper, his box in his fridge with the brine and puts his turkey.
I know this. I had forgotten it, and now I've been reminded of that.
I can send you a picture, Frank.
I don't want to listen.
I'll tweet it at you.
I brine the turkey as well, but I do it properly out of doors in a very cold.
It's what the crisper
garage
is for in the extra.
No, it's not. And now you know what? Here's what your ice cream smells like when you take out your nice whatever you eat, mint ripple fudge or whatever it is that you like. Now it smells like brine. It tastes. It has that flavor of brine and mint ripple.
And Lloyd wonders why he gets the rhea when he uses vegetables out of the crisper throughout the year.
So somehow your broccoli was laced with E. coli.
You wouldn't happen to brine turkeys
Seriously
in your vegetable box, would you?
This happened to us one time before. Do you happen to brine your turkey in your? Oh yeah. Oh, you do. Well, that's not the standard usage.
Did you? Well, I rinsed it out when I was done.
Come on, Lloyd.
All right.
Come on, Lloyd.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Come back. We talked about what went wrong with Utah. Coming up next, we'll talk about what went right.
Hey, really quick, just to wrap up the wrong.
Yeah.
I did find.
Hans has more wrong.
I found a Morgan Scally blunder.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were like, oh, well, okay. So sometimes Morgan could get a little too aggressive.
Yeah.
Fourth and goal. Was it fourth and goal from the?
Yeah, like the 2.
It was fourth and goal from the 3.
3. All right.
Fourth and goal from the 3. Morgan Scally brings a 7-man blitz. Kansas State puts 5 out in a route, including the tight end that's lined up off the flank of the quarterback in the shotgun. And that tight end just digs towards the line of scrimmage and then bows out to the flat. And you bring 7. You got 4 in coverage on man press. So you got 4 that are pressed out, but the tight end is unaccounted for. 5th receiving target, no defender to man to zone. So, yeah, I guess if you wanted to say, well, you got caught. Well, Morgan was like, hey, 4th and goal from the 3. It's all or nothing. You're going to do one of the 2. We're either going to get the pressure, tip the pass, force Avery Johnson to try to tuck it and run, but get the pressure fast enough that it makes him overthink or not have time to think, but Avery just dropped back in the shotgun and just hoisted it. He saw the coverage and he knew the rush and he knew the flat would be wide open. So do you wrong Morgan Scally there? Or do you just say, well, that was just typical Morgan, trying to be aggressive?
Morgan doing his thing. And I think because you're a little bit on tilt, knowing that Kansas State's running the ball, and you got, what are they going to do on 4th down? Well, of course they're going to run the ball. Let's sell out against the run. I mean, I think that call was
that's a good point.
That call was based on what was going on in the game.
Everything else was working.
Yeah. All right, 158. Now, it's time to go glass half full for the University of Utah. What went right and what needs to happen against Kansas coming up this weekend in lovely Lawrence, Kansas, as Utah will take on the University of Kansas, the Jayhawks, coming up on Friday right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.